Welcome. Here is a rundown of war in Ukraine. Power cuts in Kyiv after Russian drone strike. Russian drones have targeted infrastructure in Ukraine's capital overnight, causing power cuts in some parts of the city. Kyiv Governor Oleksiy Kuleba said. Russians launched several waves of Shahid drones, targeting critical infrastructure facilities. Air defense is at work. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said, there are emergency power outages in the city. It comes after Ukrainian forces shot down 45 Iranian-made Shahid drones fired by Russia on the first night of the year. President Volodymyr Zelensky said, drones, missiles, everything else will not help the Russians because we stand united. They are united only by fear. General Staff, Ukrainian forces repel Russian attacks near 11 settlements in Donetsk, Luhansk oblasts. Over the past day, Ukrainian forces repelled Russian attacks near Stelmakivka and Bilohorivka in Luhansk Oblast and Rozdolivka, Bilohorivka, Soldar, Krasnohora, Bakhmut, Klishchiivka, Opatny and Krasnohorivka in Donetsk Oblast, the General Staff of the Armed Forces said in their January 2 update. Russia also launched 51 airstrikes, using at least 44 Iranian-made Shahid 136 drones. All of them were shot down by the defense forces units. The Russian forces also launched 55 attacks from multiple rocket launchers, including on the Children's Hospital in Kherson. Additionally, Ukraine's rocket and artillery forces hit 5 Russian personnel concentration areas. And world welcomes 2023 amid concerns over war and inflation. New Year's celebrations swept across the globe, ushering in 2023 with countdowns and fireworks, and marking an end to a year that brought war in Europe and global worries over inflation. The new year began in the tiny atoll nation of Kiribati in the Central Pacific, then moved across Russia and New Zealand before heading deeper, time zone by time zone, through Asia, Africa and Europe and into the Americas. Australia kicked off the celebrations with its first restriction-free New Year's Eve after 2 years of COVID disruptions. Sydney welcomed the new year with a typically dazzling fireworks display, which for the first time featured a rainbow waterfall off the Harbour Bridge. In China, rigorous COVID-19 restrictions were lifted only in December as the government abruptly reversed its zero-COVID policy, a switch that has led to soaring infections and meant some people were in no mood to celebrate. Meanwhile, Russian attacks on Ukraine continued on New Year's Eve. At midnight, the streets of the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, were desolate. The only sign of a new year came from local residents shouting from their balconies, "Happy New Year!" and "Glory to Ukraine!" Only half an hour into 2023, air raid sirens rang across the city, followed by sounds of explosions. In a video message to mark the new year, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Time magazine's 2022 Person of the Year, said, "I want to wish all of us one thing, victory." Russian President Vladimir Putin devoted his New Year's address to rallying the Russian people behind his troops. But festivities in Moscow were muted, without the usual fireworks on Red Square. Elsewhere in Europe, fireworks exploded over the Parthenon in Athens, the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, and the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, where crowds gathered on the Champs-Élysées Avenue to watch the French capital's first New Year fireworks since 2019. Big Ben chimed as more than 100,000 revelers gathered along the River Thames to watch a spectacular fireworks show around the London Eye. The display featured a drone light display of a Crown and Queen Elizabeth II's portrait on a coin hovering in the sky, paying tribute to Britain's longest-serving monarch who died in September. Rio de Janeiro's Copacabana Beach welcomed a small crowd of a few thousand for a short fireworks display. The Brazilian capital's New Year's bash usually drew more than 2 million people to Copacabana before the pandemic. Turkey's most populous city, Istanbul, brought in 2023 with street festivities and fireworks. In New York, rain that was fierce at times did not deter the crowd at a dazzling Saturday night spectacle kicking off celebrations across the United States. The Times Square party culminated with the descent from one Times Square of a glowing sphere 12 feet in diameter and comprised of nearly 2,700 Waterford crystals.